Hey, it's Lily here at AIBC. I am joined by Wadih, the co-founder and CEO of Al Musaed. Did I say that correctly? I will say that was basically perfect, yeah. So you are an entrepreneur, you've set up businesses in different sectors. So we're going to start with esports and kind of work our way through. So tell us a little bit about what you do within the esports space.
Yes. So hello everyone. So basically I started in esports 10 years ago as a commentator, caster. And I used to enjoy basically Counter-Strike the most. So I got super involved in that, got to know the players, the coaches, the managers and everything there, which led me to transition more into events and the whole marketing world, which led me to Dubai, of course, like everyone else. And from there, I started understanding more the business side of things. So from there, I started working with agencies, brands, running some of the biggest events basically in the region and in the gaming sector and esports sector, which led me to running currently Al Musaed, or co-founding Al Musaed and running it. And Al Musaed is basically a consultancy and management agency. The whole point of it in a nutshell is anyone that walks into the esports industry or already is walking in it but needs help, needs a support player, this is where Al Musaed comes in. So Al Musaed means in Arabic the support player. So basically we can hold the client's hand and help them with building the strategy, getting in the right partners to execute it. We can execute stuff ourselves as well. But the main point we focus on is always like planning, strategizing, all that section, because that's kind of the recipe to succeeding, of course, with the right partners on the execution side. So this is kind of my main business. However, I have two more businesses. Should we just go?
Keep going. There's two other businesses.
So, exactly. So the second business is called One of Creators. I co-founded it with my fiance actually. Family type of business, also super simple. The gap there is basically content creators always struggle with management and the business side of being a content creator. So that's basically replying to emails, sending codes, invoices, contracts, reviewing all that stuff and getting the best deals basically. So we co-founded this company and we're working with some of the close friends of mine in the gaming industry and the sports industry as well. These are kind of the main two pillars. And we help these content creators understand more the value of their brand. Like imagine we see companies raising millions and millions of money with like 100,000 users, of 500,000 users. Like we have influencers with 9 million, 20 million fans following them, but they don't do anything with it other than campaigns. Imagine these content creators building their own ventures, for example, building their own companies, products, I don't know, chocolate, chips, water, whatever it is, even tech products. So this is exactly where we're headed in that direction, but we're starting like step by step. We're starting with the management, organizing the back office, making sure that operations is smooth. So kind of the boring side of things, but we can't just like leap above it and go for the big stuff. So the third one is still very much in incognito, so I can't talk too much about it.
Sticking with two for today. We've got two hats.
Look, I'll give like a bit of what's the mix basically that we're preparing. So I'm working with a person from Australia. I can confidently say he's a visionary. I'm not claiming I am, but the guy is like, his mind is amazing. Like he wrote 10,000 pages of how you can build an entertainment precinct in a sense that can revolve around all the futuristic sports. So this is something that we just established a couple months ago. We've been working on it for the past couple years, and we're reaching a point where we're finalizing fundraising, and we're gonna focus a lot on the region. Like the whole project is based around Dubai specifically.
I mean, there's so much happening here. Okay, so we've got esports. Let's take a little deep dive into it. This is a sector which has grown crazy amounts in the past couple of years, and it keeps growing. We have the Olympics coming up, the Esports Olympics in 2027. There's so much expansion. So with what you do, how are you kind of monetizing these esports tournaments? Like, explain to people a bit about it, because I think people don't even realize what an amazing business opportunity there is in esports.
So in esports, there's different sections to it. The team side of things is usually where the negative stuff are mostly. And what I mean by that in terms of monetization, a lot of esports teams basically are cost centers. So at the end of the day, you end up just spending money on building that team. However, I think the region and generally esports industry is starting to understand that the team can be your shop facade. And then behind the team, there could be something. So for example, we see teams that have arenas that they can rent. We see teams that have talent management agencies, so they have influencers and then they get campaigns and the same stuff I was talking about one-off creators like we do. So teams are starting to understand like it's not just sponsorships, it's not just prize pool, there's multiple things. And I think this is the key element right now in the esports side. In terms of events, I think in general events are a decent, let's say business. They're easier in a sense from teams. When it comes to teams, it's very tricky how to monetize. For events, you just need to be able to sell your event, and to sell your event, you need the base of it, which is basically the community, the grassroots, the fans, the people. So if you have really good people on the operational level that can get traffic to that event, like we see in AIBC, like it's crazy. I almost missed my panel because of the traffic outside, which is great. Imagine that, but on the esports level. So you can barely enter the arena because there's so many people coming into the tournament or the festival or whatever. And this is a very important point, by the way, a lot of people miss it. People should stop doing just tournaments. When I started 10 years ago, tournaments were amazing because like you can come and say like, oh, I played the Counter-Strike tournament and I have a chance to win $10,000. $10,000 back then from a game was crazy, you know? But now $10,000 is a joke. Like you can see in Riyadh, the prize pool for AWC is what, $35 million the last year. So that's crazy. So prize pool doesn't matter. The event itself doesn't really matter unless you start planning things in it where it is entertaining for everyone involved. By everyone, I mean like the casual gamer, the hardcore gamer, the esports players, the talents involved, the parents, the father, mother, you know, like everyone needs to be able to attend that festival. And I call it festival. It's not a tournament anymore, and have fun. You know, so this is something also I personally tested last year. We've run an event in Khobar, which is a city in eastern Saudi Arabia, which is considered a calmer city compared to Jeddah and Riyadh and Dubai and Abu Dhabi, of course. And we had almost 6,000, 7,000 people watching a FIFA tournament. I think the prize pool was like $12,000. So it wasn't about the prize pool, but the whole concept of the whole festival being around football and entertainment, and you can come play some VR games, some football games. So there was a huge mess of food. They had a lot of good food kiosks there. So yes, exactly. So it was like the hotspot basically in the city during that 2-3 days. So everyone was there, and people that have nothing to do with esports per se were watching because it's fun. Like we're having fun. Yalla, let's go. So that's my take on esports events in general and monetization.
I mean, it is so important. I was at the Saudi F1 and there was just like a part of it which was esports based, and everyone was flocking to it. The queue was so long to even get involved to play on the simulator. It was just insane, and no one was even bothered about going in to watch the actual F1. It was just fun. Like people were having a good time, and you want to play, you want to be involved. So it just added that extra level of excitement, I think, for the fans that were there. So yeah, I think there's so much. And then let's take a deep dive more into like the entertainment influencers side of things as well. Why is that so key? As you said, monetization, it's really big that you can make these esports players into influencers and earn a different form of revenue. But also, like, is there other ways that influencers can have a big impact in the esports space, gaming, whatever it is? How can we help to having that?
Yes, so influencers in general, we've seen a lot of them flock into the esports industry, especially in the past 5 years almost, where most of the influencers started either joining a team or building their own teams as a way to kind of build their audience and community even larger than what they are. Or even if it's not larger, in some cases it felt like more of a loyalty program. So So I build better connections with the fans, because if you go back to the primitive side of us humans, we like to have a clan. We like to have our own community that we can interact with, socialize with, and protect each other in a sense. And this is what football ultras are for, right? So influencers are interested in that, but I'm not sure they've been successful, honestly. Because we've seen a lot of esports teams that are based on influencers that ended up failing, honestly. And this is where we go back to the point that influencers need help on the business level, need help on the business side. If they have an audience that's not going to translate into an esports audience, and even if it does translate, it's not going to translate into money. So this is where, like, I think more influencers should work with better management around them, people that are like experienced on the business side. And some of the influencers, and this is a very common mistake, they find someone that is like good with English and Arabic, at least this region, good with English and Arabic, and they give them the email and please reply to my email, and they call it business management. That's not true. That's not how it works. Like in some cases where I jump in on calls with some of the parties or brands, let's say, reaching out to one of my influencers, they end up telling me like, we want you as an advisor for our project, because there is value from that person that is managing the business. You hear me? So this is a very key point, and I'm not saying it to brag, of course. I'm saying it because I'm trying to prove a point at the end of the day. Whenever a content creator is working with someone, they need to choose the right person, not the cheapest person.
Okay, I know that we can talk forever, but I think we've hit some really good points of what we've been discussing. So thank you so much for your time. Thank you for being here at AIBC. I know how hectic it's crazy out there, so let's just go and enjoy.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.